think he's going to make it out alive.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's a really, really good movie. Right, we're getting ready to talk to Stephen. I'm going to give him the 60-second warning. Not that I think at this stage he knows the crack, because he's, as you say, he's been on this show so often.
You're listening to the Stephen Stanton Show, featuring Following the Nerd.
Pitching your old voices again, eh?
Yeah, that's me. I'm going to see if I can do some different ones for him.
Yeah, okay, so right, all right, you know what, let's take him by surprise. Let's give him a shout.
Easy. Stephen Stanton, man of a million voices.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys? It's good to be talking to you again so soon.
Again, Stephen,
always a pleasure.
I talk to you more than I talk to my mum.
Really? We got to change that.
Wow.
To your mom, and then we'll change that there.
When I'm marveling at the weirdness, be afraid.
Listen, thank you very much for coming back on the show. It's always a pleasure. We always get you on the show. We always chat for a bit, and I always feel like whenever you're off the show that we could have talked so much longer. How are things with you?
They're great. They're absolutely great. And today we've got it's a really big day for a bunch of us involved in a brand new show from Disney Studios, and kind of want to talk to you guys about that, because you're not going to believe who's involved in it and who's in it. It's a nerd fest come true.
It kind of is. I don't know. Do you want us to talk to you a wee bit about it, or do you want to give everybody the news yourself about what it is that you're involved in, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty? Do you want to do it that way?
Sure. Yeah, we could. I can talk about it, or we're on the air now, right?
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, we're live.
Yes, we are.
It's like we should talk about it. It's like, let's go for it. I mean, we have this. I'll start the ball rolling. It's a big news today. Big news day, because we're allowed to finally talk after a long time working on this series, a new Disney series called the 7D, which is about the seven dwarfs, kind of before they got involved with Snow White and that whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Now this is huge, because it's not a new show, or it's not a spin-off from Lilo and Stitch, or this is big. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's kind of the Disney flagship. You think Disney, this is what you think?
Yeah, this is, and what's great about it is some of the people behind it are executive producers, Tom Ruegger, and if you liked the Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, and anything, are going all the way back to Batman, on the WB. Tom is he's one of the creative forces behind this, and he's brought a lot of his writers over that he's worked with in the past, like Randy Rogel and Deanna Oliver and Paul Rugg, that were all on Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs. So the show is very funny.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's we've seen the redesigns, because you guys were kind enough to send us over a little glimpse of the character you play. Stephen is, of course, the one and only
Sleepy. I do a lot of snoring in this series.
That rule sounds perfect for me.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's easy for me, because I get to sleep through most of the sessions. But
somebody wake up Stanton.
No, he's doing his lines. I think.
It's the thrilling part of the show.
Yeah, no, he gets into the character. It's just part of the process.
Yeah, well, I had to come up with all different kinds of snoring for this, something different for each episode, so I wasn't, repeating myself. It's very creative for the snore factor. And some of the other dwarfs, there's a huge cast on this show, and the other dwarfs consist of course, I play Sleepy. Also from the Clone Wars, my good friend D. Bradley Baker, he plays Dopey. And he does Dopey. Of course, Dopey doesn't talk, but he whistles all of Dopey's dialogue. And he also does every beastie, critter, animal, dragon, monster thing that's in the show. He does an amazing job doing the sound effects of that. We've also got Maurice LaMarche as Grumpy. You may remember him from Pinky and the Brain.
And also the voice of Egon from the Ghostbusters animated series, too.
Maurice worked on Futurama as well.
He did. He played Kit.
And he was in the Clone Wars. He was Kit Fisto in Clone Wars, am I right?
You may be right. I can't remember.
Okay, he was.
But episode worked on the Clone Wars.
But talking about
from Futurama, Billy West,
yeah.
Billy West.
Yeah, I mean Billy West.
Billy West, the voice of Slimer from Extreme Ghostbusters.
Wow.
Aha!
Oh, somebody's been doing his homework.
No, I just know this stuff, being a massive nerd.
Yeah, because I mean, wow! It really is. It's voice acting royalty on there, Stephen.
Yeah, and Kelly Osbourne as well, daughter of Ozzy.
Yes, actually, yeah. Kelly Osbourne plays Hildy. She's one of the. She's our villainess on the show. We've got Grim and Hildy Gloom, and Grim Gloom is played by Jess Harnell, who was on the Animaniacs. He played Wacko.
I mean, it really. I mean, it's just we're kind of a gape at some of. You're talking about Animaniacs here.
Yeah.
Clone Wars. You're talking about Futurama, and it's the talent from those shows. Absolutely.
It's almost kind of like the Avengers of voice acting talent coming together for this 7D show.
He's like the Avengers. Absolutely. There's also, I don't want to forget also, Kevin Michael Richardson plays Happy. Kevin he's been on tons of stuff. He was Captain Gantu in Lilo and Stitch. He was also on the Clone Wars playing Jabba the Hutt. Scott Menville, who plays Robin on the Teen Titans, he plays Sneezy, and he literally can blow the room apart with the sneezes. I usually have to cover my ears. His sneezers are so funny and they're so violent. They just literally rattle the walls when he does that. And we have, if I didn't mention him, Bill Farmer as Doc, and Bill, as you may know, has been the voice of Goofy for Disney for many, many years. So it's a huge cast, and usually it's so big we can't even record all together. Usually everybody in the Kingdom of Jollywood, that's like Kelly and Jess and Lee Allen Baker and Paul Rugg, they all record in their session, and then all the dwarfs, we record together as much as possible. So it's kind of a two-tiered recording process because there's so many of us.
Now, obviously, Stephen, because you're involved in the show, you obviously know kind of the tone and everything of it. But what I'm getting from it is a kind of a Phineas and Ferb kind of vibe where it's for the kids, but the adults are kind of going to love this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, probably the show's, it has a look and a feel to it that was, you think, oh, this is a little kid show, but it's really not. We spent more time laughing according to these scripts than any other show that I can think in memory. And it wasn't because the actors were cut. It's usually we were trying to keep from laughing at each other's dialogue and the lines because there was just so many funny sequences in there. I've actually had teeth marks in my hand where I was biting it so hard one time when Scott Menville was doing a crazy little kid voice that he was doing. I mean, there's just so much. The writing on the show, when you get all these people that wrote for Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, it's like, you're kind of getting all this sort of top-notch, very absurdist humor, this crazy stuff.
Now, let's talk a wee bit about the look of the show. At said, you guys were kind enough to send us before we came on air. You gave us a little glimpse. And if anybody goes to our Facebook page at followingthenerd.com at facebook.com/followingthenerd, I've done a little banner, Stephen, with your picture and how Sleepy looks. These are quite radical. They're very, very different. They aren't obviously the Seven Dwarfs that you know, but they're not. They're a whole new take on it.
Right. They're the Seven Dwarfs from, of course, the fairy tales. And then there's the Disney spin on it. They don't look like the 1930, the 37, the original Snow White characters. It's a very modern, very contemporary look, but it's very funny. And I think it really fits with the type of humor. I don't think if they had taken the original characters that we know from the feature film and tried to do the humor that we're doing today with that, those don't really fit that well. It's a very different kind of humor and a different kind of storytelling from the original feature film than what we're doing in this. This is very fast-paced, can be very irreverent at times, and just, there's anachronisms and all kinds of things in there that, people will, they'll laugh at those for different reasons,
I really love the look of it, because most TV shows these days, especially kids' TV shows, are done with that kind of rendered 3D animation. This one really looks like 2D cell animation, if you know what I mean. It looks like a real return to basics, and it looks fresh.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything that's currently playing on TV.
Yeah, it does have a really very unique look to it. I was really surprised when I got involved in the show to find out that it was being done as a 2D traditional animation because, there's so much is done CG nowadays that, really good 2D animation has become, it's not the norm like it used to be. So I was really pleased, and especially when I saw some of the very first designs. I think Noah Jones, who did Fishhooks, I think he did the original character designs for these characters. And they've gone through some changes a little bit here and there, but I've seen some of the final finished animation footage, and it really looks great. It's very full. The animation is very full. The characters, they move really well, and they've just got a fantastic look to them. The backgrounds, the color palette, everything about it is just phenomenal.
And of course, it's sort of, sorry, Stephen, or Saxon, you were going to say there, but it's also showing that Disney have very much sort of, they've got their finger on the pulse. I mean, they changed things a few years ago whenever Tron Uprising came out, which was a fantastic looking TV show. They're recently now, they're having big success in the cinema. And this again, it shows that they're not afraid to take what you know and to play about with it, to change it. There's no fear to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a great move because you can only do, so much with the original material. I mean, if you love Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I mean, by all means, I think that's what you should watch, and you should, cherish that film. But you want to try new things too, and you shouldn't feel locked in and restrained to old designs or things like that. I don't think this doesn't make fun of the original. It's just a sort of a new take on those characters, and they put them in the town. They have a town that they live in, or the village called Jollywood, which is very much like a play on the city Hollywood, and the 7D in this are at the beck and call of Queen Delightful and Lord Starchbottom. And whenever Queen Delightful rings the bing bong bell, they've got the sort of the 7D run to the scene Thunderbird style, like through the secret tunnels and stuff.
Is this a contemporary take? As in, will we be seeing the dwarfs using like mobile phones or talking about YouTube, or is it still very sort of traditional?
No, it's still very traditional. Like I said, I think there's been a few anachronistic sort of like, humor touches that are thrown in, but it's very much within the world of fairies and unicorns and gnomes and elves and all that kind of all that. That sort
just
of
like the inside of my mind.
Yeah. No, so it's a very storybook, in that regard. So it keeps it in that realm, which is good because there's so much material to explore there, because there's a lot of other fairy tale characters that can come visit and get involved with the 7D. In addition to all the original stuff that they've been doing on this, which is, I think there's a lot of episodes. I have a stack of scripts sitting at home on a chair that's probably like, 14 inches thick, of all the episodes that we've recorded thus far.
Now, Stephen, this isn't, your involvement with Disney isn't exactly out of the blue. You have quite a relationship with Disney already at this stage. I mean, anybody that goes to the Disney Worlds or to Disneyland, they're going to know your voice, even if they don't realize it's you.
Yeah, I have been sort of like kicking around the Disney studios for a while now. Actually I do the voice of one of the original Seven Dwarfs whenever they need that. And from the original movie, I'm the voice of Happy. And actually Bill Farmer, who's on the 7D with me, I believe, it's always so hard to remember, I believe Bill does the voice of Sleepy in the original Seven Dwarfs. And we actually got together recently because we've been working on providing voice tracks and singing for the new Seven Dwarf Mine Train ride, the attraction that's opening up at Walt Disney World in Florida. That's coming up this summer. And I've done a number of theme park things for Disney, the captain of the Mark Twain Riverboat, and Stinky Pete over at Toy Story Mania.
I have to ask, Stephen, can we get a wee bit of Stinky Pete?
Yeah, it's like, you're afraid of the flames, Jesse. You died the mountain, blow it over.
Not too far off from Kelsey Grammer. I like that. That was good.
Actually the most interesting character I've done for the Imagineering group recently was Lord Henry Mystic at the new Mystic Manor sort of haunted mansion attraction that they opened at Hong Kong Disneyland. He's very British, you know, Lord Henry Mystic. He has Albert a monkey who creates havoc all throughout the map. That was a lot of fun.